Hi there, welcome. My name is Rusty Humphreys, and he is Mark L. White, and this is Health Hacks with Mark L. White. And I wanted to do a show today, Mark, kind of describing a little bit about what is your goal here on Health Hacks. What are you trying to accomplish? And for these shows that we're doing every single week with a lot of great content, why should somebody come back every week to watch this show?
Well, first of all, thank you, Rusty, the master of the mic. I really appreciate you helping us get this launched. I'm not a doctor. I actually am a business person, entrepreneur who stumbled into this 15 years ago. And up until 15 years ago, I thought medicine was whatever was in the pills, whatever
your doctor told you to do, right?
Whatever your doctor, I remember when I was growing up, my pediatrician, his name was Dr. Bregman, he would come in there and he would stink like cigarettes. This was like the 1970s. And he'd come out of his office, there'd be a big poof of cigarette smoke. And the guy was fat and, he's over there like, diagnosing you with whatever. And that's how like traditional medicine's always been. I mean, the traditional medicine was always whatever, they never took chances. They never thought outside the box. I read this interesting book about the death of James Garfield. I think he was a president in the 1870s or 1881, I believe. He got shot and the bullet went under his skin. And the doctors at the time ended up killing him because they didn't wash their hands. Okay, they ended up giving him an infection because they didn't wash his hands. They would probe him with dirty, filthy instruments, medical instruments. But the crazy thing was there was a doctor named Dr. Lister who used to preach about washing hands and sterilizing equipment, and everybody thought the guy was a kook.
Really?
And it took 40 years before they learned about germ theory. This guy wasn't killing anybody, but doctors didn't want to think outside the box. They thought like mainstream doctors, and that mentality still takes place today. And when I opened up a practice and hired doctors to work for me, we were optimizing people's testosterone levels. And we had urologists say, you can't optimize people's testosterone levels. There's no IDC-9 code. Insurance isn't going to cover it. And what's the illness? And I'm like, wait a second, we're keeping people healthy. And, when you think about it, keeping people healthy so they don't get sick should be the goal of doctors.
Right.
But it's not. Unfortunately, what happens is, think of your car. Like, do you wait until your car is like literally not working and then you roll it into the garage and you say the thing's broken down?
No.
What do? You keep it running well. You put the oil in there. You make sure the car runs well. You do the same thing with your computer. You keep the operating system running well. But in medicine, traditionally, the doctors wait until you're sick before they do anything about it. And there's this incentive structure to keep people sick.
Why do you think that is? I mean, I don't see the benefit other than keeping you coming back to the doctor.
Well, there's the saying, I read this a long time ago, is that traditional medicine, and when I talk about traditional medicine, I'm talking about hospitals, pharmaceutical companies, anybody in medicine, anybody who makes their money in medicine, who gets reimbursed from insurance companies, they don't make money off of two types of people.
Okay.
Healthy people and dead people. They make money off of chronically sick people. It's like a built-in incentive structure, but it would be nice if you had a healthcare system where doctors were incentivized to keep you healthy.
Okay.
But unfortunately, they don't have a platform for telling people about all these health hacks that keep people healthy. Like, we knew optimizing testosterone was helping keep people healthy. We knew a keto diet helped keep people healthy. Hell, we just learned that using Gainswave to optimize erectile dysfunction keeps people having great sex, which is really what life's all about. And having a tool where you can talk about this on social media or on a podcast or on a YouTube page, having some sort of tool to do that, I'm blessed because I'm meeting all these doctors who, when they learn about GainsWave and they come here, they say, hey, I have a health hack on this. I have a health hack on stem cells. I have a health hack, and I'm learning about all these things. And I thought it would be fascinating to tell everybody about that and really spotlight the people that are making this happen.
And you keep finding these great guests and these great things. I mean, you'd think that you'd run out. You just keep coming up with more and more stuff every week. It's incredible.
Well, let me ask you this. How many pills are out there that keep people chronically ill?
There's a lot, aren't there?
I mean, there's probably just as many health hacks. They just need a platform and somebody to like spotlight it and get the information out there. And you do see some amazing podcasters out there. I think Ben Greenfield and Dave Asprey have done a great job. They're calling it biohacking. They talk about health hacks that are way out there, but there are so many for like the average guy. I'm just an average guy. I'm an average guy.
How did you get started into this? What made you go? I mean, you told me a little bit about some of the what made you think about that with the president that died and the guy not washing his hands. But what made you go, you know what, that's the way to go, as opposed to going into a business thing? Because you're a businessman.
So back in 2002, I met a doctor that was an HIV doctor, and he used to get reimbursed from insurance companies for doing these very expensive transfusions for treating HIV positive patients. But in 2002, new pills came out and the insurance companies stopped reimbursing him. So the doctor had no way of bringing him revenue. So he was advertising something known as testosterone replacement therapy. And when he explained it to me, he said, look, nobody knows about it. I have to run ads in the newspaper because there's no, insurance doesn't cover it. It's going to bring in some private pay revenue into my practice. So we started building websites initially for him, and then we started getting patients all over the country looking for these types of treatments. And it didn't just start with testosterone treatments. When these patients came in, they started asking for holistic ways to fix my shoulder. We know PRP and now stem cells do that. They're looking for holistic, non-invasive, non-prescription ways to optimize erectile function, to grow back hair.
Were you surprised when you started doing that these things existed? Were you skeptical at all, or were you like all in from the beginning?
No, I wasn't all in I was skeptical because I have been sold the same thing I think most people in the public are sold. I mean, you listen to your doctor, you take what the doctor says as the Bible, you take what mainstream media says as the Bible. But they have an incentive structure to make some of these guys out there doing amazing things with these health hacks. They make these guys sometimes look like kooks. I mean, Suzanne Summers, Suzanne Summers.
Very, very close friend of mine. Matter of fact, was at brunch with her last weekend.
I mean, like when it comes to optimizing hormones, she was one of the first. She literally wrote the book on it, 15 years ago, 20 years ago? And what did they do? What did the mainstream media do?
I mean, they called her a kook and they tried to destroy her, right?
They called her a kook. And why do you think they did that? What happens when you keep people healthy? Where do you keep them out of?
Keep them out of the doctor's office. Keep them away from the pharmaceutical pills, right?
Yeah, and it's a terrible thing. They're gonna just they'll do whatever it takes to bury a health hack because it cuts into their profits. And I don't mind talking about it.
Do you think they really do that? I just have a hard time believing that a company whose job it is to heal people would keep people sick just to take the medicine. I mean, I can't even imagine doing that. I couldn't look myself in the mirror.
Well, first of all, let's not fool ourselves. Big pharmaceutical companies' job isn't to heal people, it's to relieve the symptoms associated with illness. And their number one priority, when you're a corporation, your number one priority is to your shareholders, right?
Right.
So you have to figure out ways to optimize cash flow, because if you don't, they're going to replace you with a CEO who will, because you're beholden, like pharmaceutical companies are not beholden to their patients, they're beholden to the shareholders. So they have to come up with ways in which to create pills, market pills, use intellectual property like patents and like trademarks. And they have to figure out ways to develop these pills and make 50 times, 100 times
I mean,
what it costs
that
to develop
sounds
the
cool.
pills.
Does it make you feel almost kooky saying that? Because it sounds kooky, doesn't it? Or you've just seen it now for so long, you just know.
We all seen it. I mean, how much is a Viagra pill? $55. I
I
mean, how much?
personally, I wouldn't know, but theoretically, no, I'm kidding. I don't.
I mean, how many have you ever been surprised at the cost of your pharmaceutical bill when you go pick up your meds?
My wife, before she passed away, got really, really sick, and they had a medicine that insurance wouldn't cover, and it was like, I think it was $1,700 a month.
How much do you think it costs for them to make that?
No idea.
And that's the thing is that I'm not saying that pharmaceutical companies are bad. I'm not saying that traditional medicine's bad. I'm not saying that traditional doctors are bad. There is a time and a place for traditional medicine. They do great and they do amazing things. I think the problem is that the system and the incentive structure in the system is doesn't cause people to go look for healthy hacks. I mean, the doctors, I mean, you have Suzanne Summers was one of the first to bring to the mainstream awareness, even before social media existed. She used her celebrity to tell people that optimizing hormones helps keep people young and healthy so they don't get sick. They made her look foolish. And now it's pretty much accepted that hormone optimization, I see urologists doing it. I see a lot of doctors doing it now. Nobody's laughing anymore.
You know what I thought was really interesting was I read that book and became friends with her and talked to her a lot of time about a lot of stuff. And then I would go back to my doctor and say, "Hey, what do you think about this stuff?" And they would either ignore me or I think one of the most interesting answers were, pharmaceutical pills are just organics that are more highly concentrated. That's what one of the doctors said to me.
Okay.
What do you think of that?
What I think is that they spend a lot of R&D, they spend a lot of research and development to come up with something that they can patent. So they're looking for stuff they could put in there that's not organic. Because if something's organic, it's natural, it's found in nature, and there's no incentive structure for pharmaceutical companies to make money off of it, they're going to ignore it. And if it's something that actually helps, they're going to see it as a threat to their profits.
What are you seeing now as a guy who's in the business, who works with doctors? Mark actually helps teach doctors to get out there better. He's amazing at that. What kind of things are you seeing that I don't know what you'd call them, the alternative community, the health hack community? What would you call them, first of all? Alternative doctors?
We have a name for it. We call them vitality doctors.
Okay.
And that's a name that we coined. And it's because like staying vital, staying healthy, staying sexy, staying young is what living life is all about. And if you have doctors that have proven treatments that keep people young and healthy so they don't get sick, you want people to know about these treatments and that they exist.
So what things are vitality doctors doing better than traditional doctors right now? If there was something wrong, give me a couple things you'd say you got to go to a vitality doctor.
Okay, so when it comes to joints, regenerative medicine,
smoking the joint or the joint in the
well, both actually, because they're now using marijuana and cannabis for anxiety, and people are able to get off of Xanax, they're able to get off of opioids. So there's amazing things there. We don't do it, but that's a whole industry in and of itself, and that's going to be mainstream within 5 years.
I was in Oregon last week, Mark, where they grow this stuff. It is everywhere there. I'm telling you, all farms that were growing pears 2 years ago, marijuana, it's everywhere.
Well, that's also that's a health hack. I mean, pharmaceutical companies have been fighting marijuana and cannabis and medical marijuana. I mean, the AMA fights it because it cuts into a lot of the stuff that traditional medicine's all about. But going back to the other joints, I'm talking about like the elbows, the knees. I mean, the doctor, my wife is a runner. A few years ago, she hurt her knee and she went to a doctor, And the doctor's first response is, we have to do surgery. She couldn't walk that well. And I said to her, I said, honey, before doing surgery, we just added platelet rich plasma to our practice. Why don't you do PRP in your knee and see if that works? And they did PRP. A few weeks later, she was walking fine. And I asked a doctor, an orthopedic surgeon, I said, do you know about PRP? He says, we all know about PRP, but there's no money in it for us. We don't make money doing PRP. It's not reimbursable by insurance companies. And if a patient has to pay out of pocket, we're only going to make a few $100s. But if we cut somebody open, we're going to make $5,000.
Can you explain a little bit? I mean, the PRP, what is that? What did your wife have done?
So PRP means platelet-rich plasma. And if you think about your blood, that's nature's way of healing you. Like if you get sick anywhere in your body, eventually you're going to heal yourself.
Okay.
Right? Now the older you get, the longer it takes for you to heal because you don't have as much concentrated blood. But what platelet-rich plasma is we take out your blood. We spin your blood in a centrifuge. It separates the platelet-rich plasma, which is full of stem cells and it's full of growth factors and all the things that traditionally has healed you. I mean, I've heard people say that this is God's medicine here.
Okay.
And they take that and they inject it in your joints. Or they can inject it in your face. It'll make your face look younger. They can inject it in your hair. It'll grow back your hair. Or they can inject it in your penis or in your clitoris, and it'll have you have better sexual function. That's O shot and P shot.
And you've seen this work.
We know it works. The reason why the people don't know about it is, like, I would say very few people know about PRP because there is no way traditional medicine or pharmaceuticals can monetize it, because I can't patent your blood. I mean, okay. I'm using your own blood to heal you. There's no medicine involved. It's a health hack.
So you're doing a lot of things at your location, and we don't talk about your location very often. Is there a reason for that? You're kind of just trying to keep out of that on this show, or because I've been there and it's darned impressive.
Well, first of all, we're in South Florida. We've been in South Florida now for going on 17 years. People locally know who we are. But up until about 3.5 years ago, we started working with doctors all across the country regarding GainsWave, which was something that we marketed here. We created a trademark and a brand around, and we started marketing it and building brand awareness the same way a pharmaceutical company would, by going out and working with influencers and writing copy and content. And we had people all over the country looking for this, and we started getting doctors all over the country talking about it. And really, I want to help these doctors because they come in and they see what we've built here and they say, Mark, I want you to help me build something, which is really about, one, helping let the public know this exists and letting the doctors talk about some of the health hacks that they've seen. But two, it's not about me. It's not about the practice down here. But it's really about helping the public learn about these and helping them connect with these vitality doctors all over the United States.
Mm-hmm. Well, you've done a great job. And one of the things that a lot of people don't know, I didn't know this, doctors tend to focus on the business of helping people, helping their patients, but they're not really good at business or getting their name out there, right? That's kind of a struggle a lot of them have.
It's almost a cliche, a doctor who's a good businessman, but I think that's what we're trying to build here is we want a doctor that's out there, because when you're a traditional doctor, you really don't have to worry about business. I mean, people get sick all the time. They call their insurance company, they find their local doctor. So a doctor doesn't have to market. Patient's not paying for it except for maybe a copay. So a doctor doesn't have to do a sale. There's no transaction that takes place where a doctor has to really ask for money because it's the insurance company paying. And a doctor doesn't have to provide amazing customer service to get that patient coming back. I mean, when was the last time you had an amazing customer service experience at your doctor's office?
Mm-hmm.
So what happens is that when these doctors say, you know what, I want to be a vitality doctor and I want to treat healthy people, they realize they have to think of themselves like a regular business. So
Right.
they have to learn marketing, and marketing isn't just coming up with a great logo. It isn't just building a website. It's really mastering digital marketing, mastering your marketing strategy. It's building a lot of content, and every year that changes.
Right.
It's about mastering the sales process. A lot of doctors I've talked to said, Mark, I'm scared to ask a patient for money because they're taught to help people. A doctor asking for money, that's foreign to a lot of doctors. And finally, having that customer experience where that one-time patient becomes a lifetime patient, doctors don't master all that. So what we want to do here with Vitality Connect and what our mission is to help any Vitality doctor grow their practice by letting us train them on marketing, training them on sales, training them on operations, and then connecting them with trusted experts and premium brands like Gainswave. So all they have to do is show up and do what they love, which is practicing great medicine.
And that's great for everybody, because sometimes maybe I don't know what doctor to go to. I want to find a good doctor, and you help them do that. And I think that's admirable, and I think you do a great job of it at it. So,
Rusty, you've also been great too, really helping us get this launched and helping us get the word out.
Well, I love it, and it's a great show. It's called Health Hacks. Mark L. White. Is marklwhite.com ever going to get finished? I know I've been promoting it for weeks. When is that going to get done?
We have an amazing team down here. I'm sitting here with Adrian, who's been amazing on this podcast. We have a team of, I think, 14.
Stick your head in there, Adrian. We want to see you. We're introducing everybody today. There we go. Hey, Adrian. All right.
we have an amazing team down here, but it's like the bandwidth. We're working on so many things. We have a strategic growth workshop. We're training doctors. We're going to different trade shows. So right now, like building marklwhite.com is low on my priority list of what we need to do to accomplish our mission.
Okay, well, that makes sense. All right, so this show comes out every Tuesday. Always looking for the latest, greatest health hacks. We've already covered an enormous amount of information, and more is coming. You've got conventions you're going to go to, may even be broadcasting from there. So this is a really exciting show. And so what we ask you to do, if you're listening to this on just the audio, subscribe to it at iTunes. Just hit that subscribe button, or Google Play. We're on iHeartRadio soon. You can find it at Stitcher, all these different places. Radio Public. It's on apps all over the world, believe it or not. I don't even think you know, Mark, how many places this show is starting to show up, and more every day. If you like the video, make some comments here on YouTube and let people know. Share these shows, because it really is important that we get these messages out and that Mark's show gets seen and heard, because it really can help so many people.
Correct.
Mark, it is an honor and a privilege, and I know you've got a lot going on. I can't wait to hear some of the upcoming shows. I'd ask you, but you don't know, because new health hacks are coming all the time.
Well, every day we have doctors, like ever since we started the show, doctors are reaching out to myself and to Adrian, and it's really just making sure that we have great content for our listeners, and we're talking about things that are relevant and that help change lives.
Awesome. And I talked to Suzanne Summers, and she's going to be on the show sometime pretty soon too. So
can't wait to meet her.
That's going to be awesome. All right. Anything else you want to cover here before we say sayonara, Mark?
Right now it's sayonara, but when I have something to say, you'll hear about it soon.
All right. Thank you very much. Again, check out more of, I would say go to marklwhite.com, but it's not ready. But just keep following us on iTunes and on Google Play and on Radio Public and all these great apps. I'll even be telling you more about some of the cool apps coming up very soon. Mark L. White is a stinking genius, if you ask me, and it's an honor working with him, and I hope you continue to follow us. My name is Rusty Humphries, and he's Mark L. White, and this is Health Hacks with Mark L. White.
Thank you.